Welcome to the Ska History Hour with your hosts, Jose Rojas
Hello.
and myself, Daryl Rubio, wherein the purpose of this channel is to spread awareness of ska music and its subgenres to the world. Our guest today is Chris Graue. Is that correct? Did you say Graue?
You nailed it.
All right. Also known as Loser from Long Beach, California. Chris, appreciate the time that you're taking to speak with us to share your stories and your music with the ska community. First of all, I just want to say that I love your website. It's really fun and vibrant and inviting. So,
Thank you.
just want...
Hand
now,
coded by me. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Nice.
Yeah.
now, you have been featured in several online articles like the OC Music News, Long Beach Post, New Noise Magazine. You also have an internet music data page as well, internet music database page as well, like me. Now, when did you first start your musical journey? What year?
Um, my my first like actual band, uh, as in that wasn't like school related or something somehow was I want to say, did we start in maybe like 2009? 8? 2009 probably, I think. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I was in a little three-piece. A buddy of mine from high school had just gotten out of college and gone through a rough breakup. And he posted something like, "Does anyone want to be in a pop punk band? Think Descendants?" And I said yes. And then we didn't sound anything like the Descendants, but that's just because we weren't good enough. But yeah, I did that band for a while, and then a couple others over the years, and yeah, now I'm doing the loser. So yeah.
Nice. Now, I see sometimes your name is spelled with parentheses around the U. Why is that? And where did you come up from the name, the loser name?
So yeah, so it's kind of a weird story, but so my name is Chris, and all my life everybody called me Chris. And then when I was 16, I was at the DMV trying to get my license,
Uh-huh.
and I filled out the paperwork, and like it's my first legal document. Like I'm 16 years old. It's my first time filling something out legal. I haven't applied to college or gotten a bank account or I don't know any of that stuff yet. So I write Chris Graue, and the lady takes it and she goes, "That's not your name." And I take it back. I'm like, "Oh, right, Christopher. That's right. This is legal. I got to write the whole thing." And I start writing Christopher, and then she takes it back. She's like, "That's not your name either. Your name's Lewis." And she writes it in for me and like does it. And I was
What?
like, "What?" And because I guess when I got and signed up for this class, like my mom gave her my birth certificate or whatever. Like I don't know. That must have been part of the process, but I didn't see it. So anyway, I go home. And I'm like, "Mom, the lady at the DMV said that my name is Lewis." And she's like, "Yeah, you didn't know that?" And so I guess they just forgot to tell me that my name is Lewis, like Louis. Um, that had just never come up before. So some of my friends that knew, it became like a nickname for me. It was like Lou, and a loser is a pretty easy nickname to do on that. And so I thought it would be fun to do it to make it the band name and put the U like in parentheses. So it's like it is Lou, but
Okay.
also like don't it was supposed to help people not say louser, but it hasn't helped. It's a stupid band name. It's like the Oneaters. I've done it to myself. I fucked it up, but whatever. We're here now.
From that
I
thing you
enjoy
do.
it. It means something to me. So I don't
Okay,
care.
that's cool, bro. That's cool,
Oh
bro.
my
Well,
God.
I can't believe so your name is Lou then.
Yeah,
Lewis.
my name is Lewis. I didn't know. I was trying to figure out how that was possible, but like my
Yeah.
mom like worked at the school that I went to, and I had an older sister, so like like people always knew me coming up, so it just never came up in school. And then one day after this, like I found like a box of like my schoolwork from kindergarten. And I was like, "Oh, whoa." And I was like leafing through it, and there was like a paper that said, like November 4th, and it said, "My name," it was like a worksheet. It's like, "My name is blank," and the teacher wrote your name and then a bunch of lines and a little shitty kid writing with your name. And it's like November 4th. My name is Lewis. Lewis, 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 Lewis. And then right after that, there's that same worksheet in November or September 5th. It's like the next day, and it says, My name is Chris. Chris, 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 Chris. And I had a flashback when I saw that paper, remembering that like when I was in kindergarten, I'm one of those like my birthday's in November, so I'm like one of those like cusp kids. Like, was I ready for kindergarten or not? And I was aware that there was like a debate around if I was old enough to start kindergarten. And I remember on one of the first days of school, I don't remember doing the thing the first time. I remember that I got called up to the teacher's table to redo an assignment that everybody had done yesterday, and it was just me and the teacher's assistant. And this must have
Yeah.
been it. And I remember thinking, like, oh no, am I not smart enough for kindergarten yet? And they're like, no, 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 it's fine. Like, look, you got it mostly right. It's almost the same. It's just the last two letters are the same. So it's just the rest of it. And so, because I don't know, like, I can't read. I'm just copying
Uh,
the marks that they made. But yeah, so anyway, that's the only time it ever came up until the DMV.
So,
wow, that's
so
interesting.
wait. So your real name is Lewis. Is your middle name Chris?
My
How
middle name
Chris?
is Chris. Yeah.
Got it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Wow, that's a crazy story.
I love that. That's a great story, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Now I see the releases that we've seen that you have are the super what is it? Super
Guario Kart.
Super
Yeah.
Guario Kart,
Super
Yeah.
Mario Kart. See,
Gario Kart. You have several singles. And I saw you featured in the Bite Me Bambi video game song, which I'm sure you
Yeah.
directed as well.
I did.
That video, and that was really fun. I really liked that whole thing. Tell us
Thank
about
you.
that whole thing, the direction of video and getting everybody in there. It would look like it was just as much fun to do as it was to put it
On
out.
the video games one, the video game
Yeah,
song.
video games. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They like I made almost all of the Bite Me Bambi videos. I think there's like two that I didn't have time for, and so Mike's lady Christina
Mhm.
did them, and she did awesome. But I've done like a dozen Bite Me Bambi videos at this point. So somewhere in the course of that, they're like, we should throw this guy a bone and feature him on a song, I think. And they did me that favor. So they let me come into the studio and do the little chiptune sounds because I've got all the stuff to make that. And they were like, oh, that would be fun for this. So
Yeah.
I got to come in and do that. And then yeah, we did the thing. So we found this location that had like a little arcade in it. And like what an awesome little colorful, it's like a pizza place or a restaurant of some sort, I think, like up in Hollywood. And I like it kind of seemed like they mostly use it for filming, but they were also kind of cooking while we were there, but they weren't open. I don't know. I couldn't really catch a vibe on the place. Um, but yeah, like we found this great looking location, and we knew that we wanted to do something like this. So yeah, so the idea that I pitched them was like, okay, so like I've invented some sort of mystery machine and I don't know what it does. And I hit the button and it zaps everybody into the video games. So then me and Talina have to try to figure out how to get everybody out. And I've done a few videos where I use this technique. It's basically a process of like taking like thinking of a video game being like, "Oh, Cubert, that's a good idea." And then finding like either like doing some gameplay and capturing it myself or just like finding a video of some gameplay, and finding
Mhm.
exactly the part that you want to use. And then being like, okay, this is the thing that the character does, and you've got to replicate this exact thing, and then filming that on a green screen, and then like flying them in and sort of like pixel by pixel, like tracking them through it and covering up the original bits of the video that you need there. So it's like it's a little it's kind of labor intensive, but
Yeah, I bet.
as long as you prepare for it, it's all right. As long as like my rule on doing those videos is to edit the whole video without me in it before we go shoot it. So that I'm not shooting a single frame of green screen that I don't need because like it'll drive you nuts if you try to do it that way. So yeah, but yeah, it was like it was really fun, and they let me like, I mean, Bite Me Bambi's always been so fun to work with. They let me kind of uh, do all kinds of crazy stuff, and they only rein me in here and there when I say something a little too stupid. So, so when my ideas are too stupid, then they become loser music videos. So.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That is,
That's
that
funny.
is.
So when did you decide to go on your own and make your own band?
Yeah, I had been playing in I'd played in another couple bands, and at a certain point it was just like I, I was playing, so yeah, that band I was talking about earlier was like kind of a punk band, and then I played in a band called the Maxis for a while, which is like kind of a power pop band that plays with a lot of ska bands, you know.
Mhm.
And then I was in like an indie rock band, and all I ever wanted to do was be in a ska band. But it's hard to be in a ska band because you've got to find like six other people that are also willing to be in a ska band. And so that held me back. I mean, since middle school, I'd wanted to be in a ska band since I was a child, and I'd never been able to find anyone that wanted to do it with me. And when I did find people that were down to be in a ska band, they're already in a ska band. So like not that these people were gonna leave these bands anyway, but like let's say in a dream world, my buddy Vince Walker or Reed Woolcott or whoever is like, wow, Chris, yeah, I want to be in a band with you. So then they quit. I break up Suburban Legends and We Are the Union. Like the world is worse for that. Like I don't think my music's that good. So again, not that those people would leave those bands to be in my band, but I just like I couldn't see a path to it. It was like, how am I going to do this? And then kind of all of a sudden one day, after dealing with all the drama of being in bands with other people, and you know nobody's really wrong, but just the difficulties of organizing schedules for something that's not particularly profitable with like other human beings in their lives. And I was like,
Mm.
wait a second, I guess I could do this by myself. I looked at bands like I love Chris Farron. I love Adam and His Package, and like Jeff Rosenstock, the bomb the music industry early days. He'd do those shows just with an iPod, and
Mhm.
I was like, there's a lot of people that are a lot better than me that have made this work. Like I'm certain I could do something like that, just to do it. So yeah, so that's what I started doing. I was like, okay, I will do this as a one man band. And like the very first song that I put out growing up, I make every sound that you hear in that. I play every single instrument. I do all of it, like
Mm.
sort of just to prove that I could. I mean, like Ryland Steen from Real Big Fish produced that, and Dave Irish engineered it, and John Graber mixed it, and so there are hands on the technical side that's of stuff that I can't do, but I wanted to prove that I could make all the sounds. But then on most of the other songs, not always, but as many of the other songs as I can, I try to bring in guests. So all those friends that I'm like, oh, I wish they would be in my band, but I also don't want to take their time away from their band. So I bring them in to guest on my songs, so that like, if I'm on stage and it's not going very well, or I'm in the middle of nowhere playing to nobody or whatever, I can just kind of close my eyes and be like, no, 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 it's okay. Like Clem is here with me. Like Scott's here with me. It's all right. It's all right. It's like I'm not alone on stage. My friends are here. So yeah.
Yeah.
Are you playing with Scott's band when he plays here?
Uh, no, I'm not in Littlest Man Band. I'm
Uh-oh.
usually at I'm at almost every Littlest Man Band show, like kind of helping like tour manage or something. And I've opened for him several times. We did a tour together. We actually Scott and I, before I was even doing Loser, Scott was one of the first people to hear like the Loser rough demos. I was helping tour manage him around when he was doing solo stuff before he put Littlest Man Band back together. Um, and we would be on like long drives, and I would be like, all right, Scott, there's no escape. You're in this car with me for 8 hours. So let's listen to my demos.
So I'm not. These are just some of the other. I'm not really asking questions. So, were you at the? Did you play with the Maxis at the House of Blues show with Real Big Fish and Bite Me Bambi a few years back?
Um,
2019.
2019, because
not no,
that's what
not at that
we
point.
were there.
I was there. I was there at that show. Um, but I was who was I working for? I must have been with Suburban Legends or something. I mean, I wasn't in the band, but I must have been doing something for them
Okay.
because I was there and I was backstage, and I remember having that angle.
Yeah,
Um,
because I think Bite Me Bambi opened, and then Marquise and the Rhythm Howlers, and then Maxis maybe, and
The
then
Maxis, I
Real Big
think,
Fish,
and then Real
something like
Big
that.
Fish. That's
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you what the order was. Yeah, I do remember that show though.
yeah.
But yeah, man, my last Maxi show must have been in like 2016 or 17 or
Oh,
something.
okay.
So it's been a minute.
So I'm sure
okay.
you're good friends with Jamie too.
Yeah. Jamie Nicole rules.
Yeah, she's great. I was just hanging out with her at Supernova with her and Joe Gittleman.
Oh,
I mean,
nice.
not
Yeah,
Supernova. What am I saying? The Punk Rock
punk,
Bowling.
punk rock bowling.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I was like, wow, Supernova was a while ago,
yeah, it was. Yeah, but
or hasn't happened yet, depending on how you
yeah.
want to
I was talking about
carve
the
that
future.
banana. Yeah,
Yeah, the other bands that I read that you were in were the 131ers and
yeah,
Pizza Wolf. Yeah, okay.
yeah. Pizza Wolf, we just did a reunion show like a month or so ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Pizza Wolf is a very fun band. It's this guy, Harry Jerkface. He's from yeah. He's from Hawaii. He did a lot of DIY stuff out there for a long time, and then he lived in LA for several years, and he was booking at the Redwood Bar. If you've ever been to shows there, for a long time he was
Um,
like the guy there. And so he would book my that first band I was in that was called Neuronic Distress. He would book us, and then he was putting together Pizza Wolf, and I was like, yes, I need to be in Pizza Wolf.
okay.
He lives in Arizona now, but yeah, it's him, and then there's this dude that plays guitar in that band that's named Tony. He's just a total metalhead. He's got like the biggest amps and the giant dreads, and he just shreds. Just the shreddiest shredder motherfucker ever, and he's so good at guitar. And then yeah, and then we just played Pizza Wolf.
All right, cool, man.
Yeah.
I think it's you, Jose.
All right. Uh, um, how do you get all the different retro game sound clips that you use in your songs? For example, the Rainbow Road song, do you record them off your gaming devices?
Uh, so yeah, I use a variety of tricks to get those
Yeah.
sounds. I have a thing for the Game Boy called Teensy Boy. So basically, there's a cartridge that you put in the game slot, and then through the link cable you plug in this little circuit board
Uh,
that allows you to plug in like USB and or MIDI. And so then it basically gives you MIDI access to the Game Boy sound card.
Hmm.
And so on the Game Boy itself, you can like select the sounds and like shape the tones in accordance with like what the game like just like you were a developer for a game, you can like pick it and then either on the computer or just with a keyboard plugged straight into it, you play stuff and the sound comes out of the Game Boy. So it's
okay.
like that's like the
Yeah.
true proper correct way to do chip tune is you do that and or there's like NES ones that are kind of similar setups. So that's like the purest way that I do it.
Uh,
And I do
okay.
that, but then there's also like there are instruments and plugins, so you can if you're just on, whatever DAW that you use, you can do like MIDI keys and uh like there are there's things that kind of emulate. There's like a Genesis one that I use. There's a Nintendo one that I use.
Okay.
Um, and then there's also a website it's funny because it shares a name with what like we have started to call the like video game ska music. We call it chip tone, kind of like two tone or what new
Yeah.
tone or whatever. We call it chip
Chip
tone.
tune.
There's there's a tool that shares that name called Chiptone. It's like a web tool that's basically an emulator for those sounds. So a lot of times I'll use that when I need like kind of like a coin or a jump or a death sound, like just or like an earthquake, just kind of like sounds, odd
Mhm.
sounds. Like I'll use that to help generate them. So it's a mixed bag. It depends on like where I am, what I'm doing, what I'm trying to achieve. I'll use one of those tools. And then
Oh, that's
also
awesome.
there's a lot of stuff that's like not technically like video game sounds at all, but you just like you like especially with the synths where you hear a synth sound, you're like, oh, that sounds more video gamey than the actual video game sounds do for some reason. There's like things about instruments from a certain era where you're like, oh, that is like the perfect thing. And then
Uh,
same thing with yeah, like when we get in the mix, like John Graber is so good at like, you know, adding like, EQs and effects and stuff like that to add like an extra bit of like lift to it. And then there's some new songs that Reed Wolcott produced that yeah, like Reed did some crazy stuff with some of the
yeah.
I'd come in with like, here's what we're gonna do, and then Reed was like, yes, and I'm going to do that so much better than you ever imagined. So again, good. I'm very lucky to work with people that are way better at this shit than I am.
Nice, nice.
Now, the whole retro game thing, theme thing that you have, is this from like a passion of growing up with video games? And if so, when did you first get that just love for the video games?
That itch.
Yeah,
That
I
itch, yeah.
always I always liked video games growing up. I never had like as much access to them as I wanted to. My earliest video game memories, my dad had a ColecoVision
Oh,
before I
cool.
was born. My dad's a computer guy. My dad like had a career in computers, so he was pretty up on that stuff. So he had a ColecoVision, and we had this game called Carnival. And it's sort of like one of those games where like the little creatures go by and you try and shoot them all, and but then some of them were ducks, and if the ducks made it all the way to the bottom, they would eat your bullets. And I loved this game as a little kid. Um, and like yeah, I had like a Genesis growing up, and I was a Sega kid. I had a
Okay,
Genesis and then I had a Dreamcast, and then that was kind of it for like I'd go to friends' houses and they had Nintendos and stuff, and I would play those things and rent some games from Blockbuster Video. Um,
right.
but I always liked them, and then when I got a little older, like I couldn't afford a GameCube or a PlayStation, and then I think it must have been right around the time the Wii was coming out, or
Mhm.
maybe a little before that, somewhere around that time. I was like, man, I can't afford this stuff. Really wish I was still playing video games though. And then it occurred to me, I was like, oh, wait a second. Like, I never played like Mario Brothers all the way through. Like, I'd go over to my cousin's house and play the first couple of levels and then die, and then it was time for Thanksgiving dinner. So, like, I was like, those games are still good, and I never got to play them all the way. Let me just go get the old console. And then same thing, like my dad's ColecoVision sat around for years, and I tried to plug it in one day and it didn't work. And I was like, you know what? One day I'll fix this. So I like hung on to that thing. And then yeah, so I started buying like Nintendos, Super Nintendos, like odd old consoles like that, and picking up the games from like garage sales and thrift stores for I'd pay like, $5 or $10 for a console and like a
Nice.
dollar for the games. Like this was
Yeah,
this was back this was back before like the retro stuff started.
yeah.
It was just old. It was just like stuff that people threw away.
Mhm.
So I was
Right,
just picking
right.
it up, and yeah, I would play through. I was like, all right, let's beat Punch Out. It's like I never did that as a kid. Like I never had access to this game for long enough to do it. So I got really into it, and then I started having the problem of like, oh shoot, it's not reading the games anymore. Like, let me figure out how to fix this. Okay, and I'd like, go on the internet and try to like Google like tips and tricks. It was kind of like I want to say like before YouTube probably, and like but I kind of learned how to like fix the consoles, and then yeah, I got the courage one day to like open up the ColecoVision and fix that, and yeah, I
Nice.
started repairing all this stuff, and so yeah, I just got really into retro games, and then since then it's become like quite a hobby, and it's not such a cheap thing to collect anymore. It's pretty expensive. But
Yeah.
also it's cool because people are making awesome stuff all the time. Like, people are making new NES games. People are making like
Mhm.
mods of Game Boys that do stuff. I mean, shoot, the Game Boy camera that I'm talking to you on, I got this Game Boy camera and the lens was scratched. There's a guy on the internet that made a new 3D printable lens holder so that you could buy a $1 iPhone lens, like an old iPhone lens that there's just spare parts on, and swap the lens. You just needed to little 3D print his little part so that it holds in
Oh,
there. So like,
nice.
if this stuff wasn't popular and, rare and expensive or whatever happened, people wouldn't be doing this cool stuff. And it's really like saved a lot of this old tech. So it's
Yeah.
it's awesome. Like
Yeah.
I wish I had more money so I could have all the things I wanted to have, but whatever.
Yeah. That's funny. When I was young, I would go to the garage sales and pick Atari cartridges.
Yeah.
That's my
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That was like dollars or cents. It was just cents. And I was like, oh yeah, just get all the Atari cartridges at the garage sales. Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be like
But
25 cents. It was
yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
so
dude.
crazy. I mean, I have a Commodore 64 in box.
Nice.
I think I bought it for like $15
Oh yeah.
back then.
Yeah.
Now you pay so much for it. And
Oh
like
yeah.
it's really slowed down my collecting. I don't buy much anymore unless I see a really good deal or something that I really want. Um, Fortunately, some people give me stuff. That's the best. Sometimes people just like here, I found this, or like you like this, I sent it to you. I'm like, this rules. Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember we used to have the Commodore 64 with the little floppy disks, and we
Yeah,
would play. I think our favorite game was a Castle Wolfenstein, I believe. When
Wolfenstein, the
that
OG.
first came out,
That's
yeah.
so cheap. Yeah, that is so cheap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They did like reissues of that game at certain points. I remember when they made, gosh, I mean, it must be like over 15, maybe even closer to 20 years ago at this point. I don't remember, but there was like an online Wolfenstein game that was sort of like, Counter-Strike and those. It was first person
Hmm.
shooter, like multiplayer online, like two teams. And somehow I got in the like beta for it. And I remember at one point I was like ranked, like because it was a closed beta. There weren't that many of us playing, and I
Was it
had figured
Half-Life,
out
was it?
like it was like Half-Life. Yeah, it was
Okay.
like that. I mean, I can't remember if Valve made it or who
Okay.
did, but yeah, it was kind of like one of those. Um, and yeah, I'd figured out that like if you started as a as an engineer and
Uh,
like did whatever mission there was, and you got all the bonus points for that, and then you reclassed after you died from that to medic and healed a bunch of people, that you just make a bunch of points. And so I was like ranked until they probably rebalanced the system before they actually
yeah.
released that game.
You're exploiting the yeah, the ranking system kind of.
You know, it
Yeah.
worked. It was fun.
It worked. Yeah. That's funny. Uh Daryl, is it your turn?
So
Yes.
you're also a video director.
Yeah.
Tell us about how all of that came about, the videos that you created. It's not just your own videos, but of course, a lot of different bands, like my favorite band, the Goodwin Club.
Yeah.
So tell us
Yeah. I
about
mean,
all the bands.
I've done over 100 music videos. So the way that started was like honestly, my first passion really was filmmaking. Like that was what I wanted to do with myself. Um, I made like a feature film when I was like 21 or 2 or something like that. And I was trying to like work in Hollywood, but I figured I couldn't do that. I didn't have the connections to pull that off. I couldn't figure out how you did that. Um, and I made the one movie, and it cost me every cent I had, and it didn't go anywhere or do anything. And honestly, it wasn't that good. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like there's a difference between something being like technically bad and
Yeah.
like, is it going to set the world on fire? Is it going to do anything for anybody? And it wasn't that. We executed as technically well as we could. It wasn't very good. But it cost me everything I had, and it was specifically engineered to be cheap and be possible. And I was like, oh man, like if that's all you can get out of that, that's an expensive habit. But then I was looking at it, and that was around the time I was, in my first little band, like for fun, and I'd always liked doing music stuff. And I was like, you know what? What's cool about music is that like, so if you want to make a movie, if you have a story that you want to tell, what's standing between you and doing it is money. Like, there's no way to, blow up a plane or whatever for your movie without some kind of money. You have to hire artists, you have to hire animators, you have to hire effects, or get a model plane that you can blow. Like, there's money. Everything's gonna cost money.
Yeah.
So you can't do the thing that you really want to do. But if you're doing music, what's cool is that whether you're like playing the Mother's Day matinee show to nobody in some bar, or you're Taylor Swift, you're still doing the same thing. You don't have control of your audience, but you can still go play your music. You get to actually do the thing without like restriction on vision, really. So, like, that was appealing to me. I was like, okay, this is more fun as like an art and as a thing to do. And then, yeah, I was playing in like Neuronic Distress at the time, and Pizza Wolf, and um, like a number of other like kind of bands with just friends, just kind of like roving around this little local scene that we were just sort of playing to each other. We didn't really have much of an audience. Um, but uh, but then it started really actually with Suburban Legends. They put out they were looking for a new trumpet player at the time. And so they asked for like audition tapes, and it came down to me and Chris Luca. And Chris Luca is who is in the band to this day in that role. And he's 10,000 times the trumpet player that I am. It was not a close competition there. But they were like, hey, your like audition video was really good though, because everybody else just kind of like videotaped themselves and played stuff and did it, but you like edited it and had jokes and it was funny. Like, can you make videos? And I was like, yeah, yeah, I can. And they're like, you want to do like a music video? I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And so we started making, like, if you look in old Suburban Legends days, we did these little like skits like back in the day that like
Uh,
we were just ahead of our time. Now all the bands are getting big by doing like dumb skits on TikTok. But like, yeah, we were doing that like in YouTube days when nobody cared about that and people didn't want to see that. Um, and I started making videos. I would go to shows and like film bands and like kind of make music videos out of the live shows. Again, it was ahead of its time. The bands were like, "What is this? It's not like a live recording of the song. It's like you've got the real song in there." I'm like, "Yeah, it sounds better than it does on my shitty camera mic."
Uh,
But it's not a music video either because it's not synced up. And it's like, well, yeah, because you only played that song once, so I couldn't like get all the angles to like do it. And they're like, I don't get that. Bands would tell me, they're like, I don't get this and I don't like it, but thank
oh,
you. I was like, okay. So, but I mean, it was just, again, it was, and then now, of course, in the Instagram age, we're so used to seeing a bunch of random clips of a band and it just looks cool and feels fun. And that was kind of what I was doing before that made sense. So between those things, I was kind of like, I got this idea. I was like, well, yeah, like it was post the MTV age, but pre YouTube like mattering, like YouTube
mhm.
existed, but it wasn't like everybody knew you had to do YouTube to do stuff. But I was just like, why don't we do music videos? And most bands were like, oh, doesn't that cost like $30,000 to make a music video? And I'm like, no, like I've got a camera, let's do it. Like
Yeah.
we can just do it. So I started making music videos for, yeah, Suburban Legends, and then like friends bands like that were just like, there was a band called Gentlemen Prefer Blood that was just like in the little local scene. And then I did one, there was a handful. I wish I could remember what they all were, but like then I did some stuff. There was a girl who worked at the Redwood Bar that had a band that I played with sometimes, and they were called the Bomb Pops. And so I made some videos for them, and then they used those videos in the EP they were working on, all the stuff that they had, but like those videos were part of their pitch to Fat Records,
Uh,
and they got signed to Fat.
nice.
And then And then, we kept making music videos, and then we made the a music video that got like millions of views. And then kind of all of a sudden everybody was like, why aren't we doing music videos? And or if they were, why aren't we doing videos with Chris? And so then my dance card got real full, and we started
Nice.
doing yeah, I started doing kind of everybody's videos. Because yeah, it was like there was a time when it was like people either like a lot of bands like weren't doing music videos in this era like at all.
Hmm.
But I was like, well, all of the ska and punk bands that know me can, and we sort of like it was interesting. We were doing stuff that like other than like the really, really, really big major label bands, like people weren't really doing it. And so it was getting some attention. It was interesting. And then yeah, like more people wanted to do it, and it was sort of like you could get someone else to do your video, but they either A, didn't know how to make videos very well, um, because they were like a normal human being with like things to do and interests and probably friends. And I had none of these conflicts, so I knew how to make videos pretty good. Or if you went to like a real professional to make your music video, they were going to want 10, 15, $20,000. So I was kind of the only game in town for DIY bands.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah.
so I made way the fuck too many of these things. And then, yeah, eventually it kind of trickled like up the food chain. And at one point, Jen from the Bomb Pops was working with Fat Mike. She was his assistant at some point, and he was trying to do some video stuff or something. She's like, "Why don't you just have Chris Graue do it?" And he's like, "Who's Chris Graue?" And he's like, "She's like the person that makes like all the music videos for your bands and
Yeah.
the bands that you see." So I went over there and we started working on stuff together. And me and Mike hit it off and started doing no effects videos and stuff. And yeah, so it's been like a whole journey doing videos for all these
Nice.
bands.
Nice. Now, I read in
That's
an
fucking
article
awesome.
you said, I read in an article you said about that the Open Your Eyes video, and everybody saw it and was like, "Wait a second, why do Suburban Legends have a good looking video? Did they suddenly get major label support or something?" Now, how did
Did I
that
say
feel?
that about
Yeah, you
myself?
said that. Yeah, you said that about yourself in an article.
I don't like that. That makes me sound shitty.
No.
Yeah, but I mean, but truly at that time, like the idea of like a little DIY band having a well-cut music video with lights and multiple cameras and stuff like that was very like there nobody was it looked expensive. Like I'm
Mhm.
not I'm not saying like it was great, but it just looked like a lot of money. And I remember like Brad, when their old bass player Brad, when he joined that band, he said to me that he joined that band because he heard they needed a bassist. He looked them up. He saw that music video and said, "Oh, okay, so they're like a serious band that knows what they're doing because they have a video." Like so, like to give you context of that time,
Hmm.
like yeah. So yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's cool though, man. That's way cool. Yeah.
Now I see.
So,
Go ahead.
okay. What's the writing process that goes into your songs? Do you start with the lyrics first, or the idea, or
Yeah, I just get real sad and then I write something. And then yeah, no, I like for writing, so this was like kind of a method that I had sort of been refining, but it was uh, Fat Mike actually uses a similar method, and he kind of helped me like solidify it kind of into words what I was doing because what he does, and so I've definitely lifted some tricks from him. But it's lyrics and melody first because they usually come together. Usually it's not like I want to write a song about basketballs. Let me think about basketball things. It's usually, some sort of like line strikes you, and it's usually like lyrics with a melody, and you're like, "Oh, I kind of like that idea. All right, let's cook through that." And so what I try to do is write lyrics and melody with nothing but a pen and a piece of paper. And I'll have my phone on hand to like record voice notes so I don't forget how it went.
yeah?
So I can like I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good way for that to go, and I sing it into the phone just to bank it,
Hmm.
until I get the
Mhm.
whole song written, and then once it's all the way written and I can sing the whole thing into a phone and have like a recording, like this is how this song goes. Then at some point, I sit down and I figure out what the chords are, what the timing is, and what all that stuff is, because it gives you the opportunity to shop every single chord into it. So like even if you're like, okay, the note here is an A,
Mhm.
well, depending on what you're doing, you can play any chord against that A note, and it'll make sense depending on what the next chord that you play is and what the next chord is that you play. So I try not to just sit there and play like, 1 4 5 chords or like little simple patterns that I have done many times. I try to really give every chord a chance to be the chord until we like land on it. And that was something I learned from Mike, it's like go shopping. It's like you can almost every song that you write, you can force it into basically like 1 4 5 really basic chord structure. You can make almost every song just about fit that. But if you work at it, you can find a more interesting choice. And then you can make it when you hit those chords, you can really make it sound as cool as they can be, because you haven't just heard them a million times. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, during the pandemic, you were involved in many different projects. Can you tell us about some of those projects, please?
Um, I wish I knew what you were talking about because I did so much stuff. Like basically what happened
Well,
was,
it was the thing with
well,
we are the union, basically.
yeah. So like when the pandemic hit, it was like I was super bummed because I just kind of gotten everything working for me. Like I just kind of like I'd started working with No Effects. I'd been with them for a little bit, mostly with like Fat Mike. Hadn't done a lot for like actual No Effects at that point, just a little bit here and there. But like, and because of that, and like, a lot of my videos are really starting to do good. I was getting to like tour a lot with these other bands, and I was like, oh my gosh, like it's kind of all starting. And then like I had several tours I was supposed to be on cancel for the pandemic, and I was like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh. And then I was like, I kind of like I sat around for like a month or whatever, like waiting to see, they were like, everybody stay home, don't do anything. And I was like, okay. I kind of waited for a minute to see what was going to happen. I was like, this isn't going to get any better.
Hmm.
And I was like, every band is going to die. And I was like, okay, well, none of the bands that I work with, they're not going to die. I'm going to figure something out. So I started helping bands figure out how to do live streams and stuff. I developed a relationship with Twitch at that point, and so I could like, if I got a new band onto Twitch, I could hit them up and be like, hey, give that band like not partnership, but like what there's like levels there. And so I was like, hey, turn on monetization for this band, give them access to like some of the tools, because like they're cool and they're coming on your platform. And so like I could do that, and I could help build everybody's live streams and figure out all these like like teach people how to like stream and like, use all the tools and the software and make it happen. And with no effects, we did like a Patreon where you could watch the band write a record. We did like a multicam
Oh,
live stream like in Mike's garage, and so you could like watch them fight while they were writing a record, and
that's
like it was pretty
awesome.
cool. So we did a live stream from his house too. We like did a show where, it was outside and it was relatively social distanced and everyone was wearing masks and stuff. But we like, did a multicam like live stream from his house, and like, so I tried to figure out everything that I could figure out to keep revenue coming for bands and keep like content coming from bands so that they could grow, so that once we were able to do shows again, they would be bigger than they were before it started. But what
Mm.
you said, We Are the Union, that's what you wanted to hear about?
No, that was just one of the projects
Hmm.
that I believe you worked with. It was a question of mine later, just about the whole Joshua Tree thing and you spending time
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Oh,
getting
dude,
that
yeah,
stuff.
that was rad. So yeah, that We Are the Union record, that was Reed's coming out record. So Reed used to you know, masquerade in the world as a man. But during that time, I had some thoughts and some realizations, and
Hmm.
transitioned. And because she's Reed is a fantastic person. Like I love her. She's rad. Um, and she was like, because she's a rock star, and I say that in the best possible way. I mean because she's like kind of an amazing artist.
Hmm.
Instead of like doing a normal thing and like, telling people close to her and like, figuring out her feet and coming out into the world like a normal person would do, she was like, I'm gonna surprise everybody and do this in secret and have a record come out that tells everybody.
Mm.
So the only people that knew that she had transitioned, she didn't tell her parents, she didn't tell like her friends. It was basically the band members and the engineer and me. Like we were the only ones who knew. Um, so she was, taking hormones and doing, you know, stuff like making her transition.
Hmm.
But anytime that she was in public or anywhere, she was like strapping down the boobs that she was growing and dressing still like masculine presenting so
Hmm.
that nobody knew, and wrote this whole record about her experience in transitioning. And we went out to Joshua Tree and rented a house, and they recorded the record, and I was out there kind of helping brainstorm video stuff and filming some behind the scenes content and whatever, just being there while we got it. And then yeah, we made these music videos, like, and didn't tell anybody. And then the day the record came out, it was like, surprise, I'm a girl and my name is spelled different now. And it was like, it was crazy. It was big news. It was like what a way to do it. What a coming out party. So yeah. And those videos were that we did 3 videos for that record.
Hmm.
They were so fun. The coming out video, it opens with Reed and the band, and Reed is still looking like a dude. It's still incognito like that. And in before the song starts, she gets hit by a truck in the street and dies and comes back to life as a zombie woman. And and yeah, that was how we told the world that Reed was a girl now.
Nice.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, is there a song of yours that has a very personal meaning to you at all?
I mean, they all do, otherwise I wouldn't have written them, I guess.
Right.
Um, Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing is like every musician, like it's like, what's the best song you've ever written? It's like the most recent one that they did that you haven't heard yet because it's not
Yeah.
done and it's not out because like that's what's, up our butt right now. That's what's bothering us. So but yeah, no, I mean I generally like my songs.
Now we briefly touched on that internet movie database. Now I see you also have an acting gig. Is that right? You act in the theater?
Uh, I haven't
Or you
acted
used
on
to?
stage in a long time, but yeah, I've been in some odds. I mean, I try to put myself in as many of the music videos that I direct for other people as I can because that's fun
Mhm.
for me. Um, and yeah, I'm occasionally in stuff like when somebody lets me.
So you enjoy that? Were you in drama as a kid or acting?
Yeah, no, I always liked, I mean, like I said, yeah, I wanted to be like a filmmaker first. I always like storytelling, and I like acting. Like I wanted to be an actor when I was younger, and then it was like nobody's gonna let you be in anything because you're not famous. And I was like, oh, I guess I'd better learn how to like shoot and edit myself and write so that I can make up stories for me to be in and tell, and then figure out how to deliver them.
Mhm.
And so that was where that came from. I still do occasionally write, like, I've got a couple odd film projects. I wrote a book at one point. There's like a young adult book that I wrote. Um, yeah, I like telling stories, and I like being in stuff. Whenever there's an opportunity, somebody's making a movie. I like to come do a little bit at least. It's fun for me.
Awesome.
Now the music video, the No Hope,
Yeah.
it's full of like end game scenes. For example, the scenes of when one dies in the Oregon Trail, Battletoads, Street Fighter Two, Paperboy, Mega Man, Doctor Mario, and so many more.
Yeah.
How fun was that shooting with the different costumes, and where'd you get the idea to do all that different scenes and stuff?
Yeah, I liked the concept of like game over, like that because that's kind of what that song was like about is just like I mean, like it doesn't ever say game over. But yeah, it was just about that, about like having no more hope and it's game over. And so I was like, that'd be really cool. Like it was a thing. They don't really do it on modern games because there's not really such a thing as a game over anymore.
Yeah.
It's like you just keep playing, and if you die you might have to go back a little bit, but you keep going. So but I remember all those like game over screens as a kid, and I was like, oh, I wonder if I could like replicate. I was like, what are like the best ones? And I started like digging through and finding like all the best game over screens, and so I
Yeah.
kind of compiled them. And yeah, that was I made that video. I think that might have been the first one I did where I did a bunch of like video game screen replacement.
Mhm.
um And so yeah, that was just kind of the concept there. And same thing, just like, yeah, just working through and buying a bunch of stuff from Amazon and returning most of it. And it was cool that, like, I mean, yeah, I it was great. When Scott tells the story about that, he's always like, "Oh yeah, that's the video where you got me to come over and tricked me into taking my shirt off for your video." And I'm like, "Yeah." At the end there, he plays Donkey Kong, so he just wears the tie,
Oh
and no
yes. Oh
shirt. And
yes.
I was like, yeah, I knew if I told you what you were gonna do when you came over, you wouldn't do it. So I just told you to come over, and then I was like, okay, now we're doing this, now we're doing this, and now we're doing this, now we're doing this. And then Aaron also participated in that video. I didn't, I remember I was like surprised. He guessed it on the song, which I was like, wow, like that was really cool. Like, thanks, Aaron. And then I
Uh,
asked him if he wanted to do the video, and I was totally expecting him to say no, and he said yes. And so I called his bluff, and he was living in Florida at the time, so I just like sent him like a package of stuff and was like here's the shots I need you to do. Here's the time code. Here's like the frame. Here's what you do. I like sent him a green screen, and then Krista, his wife, like shot it for him. And then yeah, so and it totally worked. And then that was the song that Kevin Smith liked and went into Clerks 3. So
Oh,
like that was yeah, that one really turned out to be kind of my most m- it's not my there's another music video of mine that got way more views, but that song seems to have had the most legs out of any of my songs.
hmm. That's a cool little song, man.
that
Thanks.
is, and I'm glad you that answered one of the questions that I had in regards to that No Hope video.
Yeah.
So the other with one of the videos that you shot was that set it all on fire with
Yeah.
that was the question that I was going to ask you in regards to
Oh
Joshua
God.
Tree. But I
Oh,
noticed in a lot that you wear that Greek fisherman's hat.
fisherman's hat?
Yeah, you have a
Oh,
Greek
the Greek.
fisherman's
Oh,
hat.
the Greek. Yeah, yeah, the
Yeah,
black Greek
yeah,
fisherman's
yeah.
hat. I heard green fisherman's hat. I was like,
Oh no,
what?
sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Yeah, the
Greek
Greek
fisherman's is
fisherman's hat.
that like your you put that on and that's your loser persona or
Not really. I mean, I've got a
you
handful of hats. I mean,
transform?
the hat I wear most these days is actually one of Robot from Suburban Legends. He's got that checkered lining company.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've seen their clothes, but he does kind of like higher end stylized ska clothes. So I've got like a flat cap that's got a little bit of checkers on it, and it says "We trust in ska." And then he
Okay.
does some like jackets and other hats. He does a whole like ska apparel line. So I wear that most nowadays. Um, yeah, I don't know. I liked that hat. I like flat caps, and I like that fisherman's cap. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I used to have one of those back in the day. I really like those.
Yeah, it's a Brix. That one's a Brixton hat. That's
Oh,
a solid brand.
yeah, very nice.
Now, in the past, there was an incident that happened after a show. Your car got broken into after a show with
Oh yeah,
Pixel Wolf, and your
yeah.
camera stuff got taken, and that kind of discouraged you, I guess, from the scene and doing music videos. But then there was a concert, a benefit concert to get your equipment back. Can
Yeah.
you talk a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, it was this whole thing. I was playing a show down in Santa Ana, and it was one of those shows where we were playing like in a bar, and there was no place to put your stuff, so we're just putting it on the floor next to people, and
Uh,
like everybody was just kind of like everybody in that bar was looking at us like, oh no, there's gonna be a band here now, like it was like that was the vibe, and it was like, oh shit. Like, and so I didn't feel like my stuff was safe in there. And then like where my car was parked, I was like, well, it's like nice and brightly lit, and because I was looking around, there was like a lot of people, and there was like a lot of like cops and stuff. It's kind of in that like the downtown Santa Ana, like the little arts district, So it was
Mhm.
uh,
looking really nice and new, and I was like 50-50. I was like, it's safer inside or in the car, and I was like, I don't know. And I picked the car, and I was wrong. Window
oh
got
yeah.
smashed. Yeah, they stole. I just shot that Gentlemen Prefer Blood video that day, and so my camera stuff was in the car, and so they got the camera with all that
Mm.
and I got my laptop. And so I just figured I was like, well, like if you were looking for a sign that it was time to stop doing videos and music and like go on and do something else, like I guess this would be it. So I didn't really say much about it to anybody, and I was just gonna kind of like, like kind of disappear and find something else to do because I couldn't afford to replace anything. So
Mhm.
um, but I had to tell the band that their footage got stolen and they weren't going to get the video.
Uh,
And so the word between, Pizza Wolf and that band and everybody kind of heard about it. And over the course of like within 8 days, there was two benefit shows
oh,
and like my church took up a bunch of money. Like there a bunch of people like pitched
oh,
in. And so yeah, 8 days from when it happened, I had enough money to buy all new gear. And yeah,
nice.
there was two shows. I played one with like Pizza Wolf and like some of those guys. Maybe I don't remember who else was on that show. But then there was the one that we did with my band and the Maxis, Codename Rocky, and Suburban Legends. And so I was like, I told all those bands that I owed them a video. And I'm still working with Suburban Legends. They're doing Punk Rock Prom on the day after we film this. Probably it's already happened by the time this comes out. But like we're still doing promo stuff. Like I toured with them earlier, so we still hang out. And Codename Rocky finally collected on their music video like last year. Like it took them like 10 years to collect. But I shot it on the same camera that I bought with the money from the benefit show that they played.
Mhm.
But
That's
yeah, they took their
yeah.
sweet time, collecting that video, and they're like, "So you still owe us a video?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I do. You're right. You guys got me." Super funny. Um, and then yeah, at that show, that was when I joined the Maxis. I like we were talking then, and that was how I got in that band, and it ended up being like I thought it was going to be the end of my career, but it ended up really being the thing that launched me into from like just playing like local bars to like touring and starting like that was really kind of where it all felt like it started. So
Mm,
it was a weird thing that yeah that
yeah.
it went that way, but that's how it went.
Was it that the Kill the Chemist? Was that the video you shot for
I
Cody
did
Rocky? I'm
two
sorry.
for Codename Rocky. There's Kill the Chemist, Killing the Chemist. Yeah, that's the one with Talina, right?
No, the other one is
Wait,
the one in the garage, in
there's
the automotive garage.
yeah, the one in the automotive garage, which is called that. Yeah, what's that song called?
Yeah, I forgot what it's called too.
I can't remember. There's too many. But yeah, so
Yeah.
that was the one that they collected on. But then we did the other one with Brenna from Last Gang and Paul from the Skeletones as the puppeteer.
Uh,
Um, that was a second video I did for Codename Rocky. They had to pay for that one. They didn't get that one for free. Uh,
they're
they still
awesome.
got a good deal though. They still
Yeah.
got a good deal.
Was it
Cool.
me? I don't know.
Yes.
It
Yes,
was
he is,
me.
sir.
So now your go-to instrument besides the 2-bit stuff, I'm sorry, the 8-bit stuff and all that stuff you do with the games, is the Moog like an instrument that you love to use the most to create the sounds that you want?
I don't have a Moog. There's like uh so some of the studios that I've recorded stuff in have some, like Rich has. Is it a Moog that he has? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So he's got one, and I think it was the one he played in the Hippos. So Rich has produced two songs for me. One of them that's out, it's called Overtime, and one of them that's not out yet because I have an idea about how I'm going to be releasing it and with content and whatever, and I want to make sure I'm ready. But I'm really
Okay.
excited because it's really good. I'm sure Rich is like, why hasn't he released that song yet? Does he hate it? I don't know. But no, it's really, really good. And I just want to make sure I do it right when I release it. Um, so yeah, when I showed Rich my songs, he's like, "Oh, you steal a lot of songwriting tricks from the Hippos, don't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And he was like, "All right, well, if you're gonna do the Hippos ending, then you better do it right." And he pulled out his old keyboard and the floppy disk that still had the OG sounds that he used on it and did
Yeah.
that. Um, so yeah, that's his keyboard. I mean, I love those sounds, but I don't own one. And like when I'm up at like we recorded a lot of another record of mine that's not out yet at a place in North Hollywood with Reed and John Graber, and they had all these like Wurlitzers and like I mean
Mm,
all kinds of cool like retro synth gear and stuff. So there's a bunch of weird stuff that I use that like I love, but I can't say I have a particular attachment to because they're not mine. It was just in the room that day, and we were like, oh, let's use it.
got it. Got it. Very understandable.
Now I want to ask you your favorite games. Your favorite Game Boy game.
Like, does it have to be
Old,
like from the first
old
Game Boy?
yes, old
Okay.
school original green screen.
I would say probably Kirby's Adventure.
Okay, Kirby. Okay, all right. Now
I'm a
Nintendo
big Kirby guy.
NES.
I love Kirby because for NES it's also Kirby.
Also Kirby. Okay. How about
Yeah.
Atari?
On Atari 2600, I'm assuming. That's got to probably
Yes.
be the limitation.
Yeah.
Maybe Yar's Revenge.
Oh, Yard's
Oh,
Revenge, awesome game. I still have that too. Yes.
Like, there's a lot of games I like better that are on Atari, but the Atari versions are shit. Like, Pac-Man's a great game, Donkey Kong Jr. is a great game, but there's so much better on ColecoVision or anything else because, like, the Atari does not have the processing power to handle them. So it's
Right.
really better suited to some of like the weirder older game. And like Yard Revenge is just kind of like a creative, interesting, like the way it uses like static as part of
Yeah.
the game. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it's
The
interesting. Like what
sounds.
a weird the sounds are crazy. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's almost like a programmer was like, what if I could get more out of games by experimenting with the glitches and like
Yeah.
sort of the like what if I made your TV and your speakers fuck up? Like
Yeah.
so it's very yeah, it's very like avant-garde sort of for a game of that era. So I think that's what I appreciate about it.
Yeah. I like the same thing about it too. Cool, cool. There.
now I see you're going to be performing at the Magfest West coming up.
Yeah.
Is that right? That must be pretty exciting for you. It's combining your two loves together.
I'm so excited. I mean, yeah, MagFest is like the holy grail of things to do for people like me that are, music with video games involved in it.
Mhm,
And yeah, they're doing Mag West now. They've done it the last couple of years, but it's still relatively new.
mhm.
So yeah, the guy who booked me on it plays in a few bands. We played a show together at a gaming expo up in Sacramento a couple of years ago, and so yeah, I'm so stoked, and yeah, Mega Ran is going to be on that show, who I've done a few things with, and he's awesome, and Power Glove is on that show, Super Madness. It was so funny. There was like so many bands on it that I was like oh, this was on my checklist like of bands that like I wish I could play with, and we're all like I didn't know. They asked me to play, and I was like, yes, 1,000 times, yes, please, yes. Where do I sign up? What do I do? And then, I didn't know until the lineup dropped. I was like, oh. wow, this lineup rules. Like, wow.
It's like they got guys that you wanted to play with.
Yeah.
That's cool. So are you going to be doing any demonstrations or anything about how you kind of make your music as well? Or are you
You
just going
know,
to be performing?
it's a funny thing, like in the ska world, like I feel like I have things to say about like, oh, this is how I do stuff with like the like chip stuff. But in that world, I feel like they're all so much better and further ahead of me than that on that stuff. Like, because these some of these bands are the people who have like, 35 Game Boys running in MIDI sync sequence and they've been doing that since like there weren't existing tools. Like they had to build the tools to do it. So
Oh,
I don't have anything to teach them. Like they don't need to know anything from me. Like I did a panel at one of those video game expo things one time where I was showing people like on the Things Are Getting Worse music video that I did with Suburban Legends, for my song, but Suburban Legends guests on it, where I like zipped around to the different like video games and stuff, and like I showed like how I did that in After Effects and Premiere because like video editing was something I had to demonstrate for people like that. But like, yeah, the video game sounds, they're like honestly, if I told them how I did it, if I told them like what I told you guys about how like I use sometimes like instruments like that you can use on a DAW, they'd be like, cheater, that's not even a real chip tune. Like I just
Is
don't
that
want to,
true?
I don't want to go down that. It's like ska people. They're like, that's not real ska though. It's just like I'm like, I don't know. You're right. Yeah, okay.
well, the only real ska is the Jamaican ska.
Right,
That's the only real
exactly.
ska.
Yeah, it's like people get like elitist about like certain things, and like I don't really have any patience for any of that stuff. So I just I get it. I get their perspective, but I don't engage in it. So I yeah.
Right.
Now I heard for the Acrobat live shows, you are the Power Milkman? The
So
Powder Milkman?
okay, correction.
Oh,
In one music video,
okay.
I play Powdered Milkman. Yeah, the most recent Aquabats music video, for the song. What is that song called? Um, Gosh, it would help a lot if I knew the names of songs. Aquabats music video, whatever forever. That's the most recent one. And yeah, yeah, they had me play Powdered Milkman in that video, and it was
All right.
very fun. It was a real dream come true. So,
Awesome. Awesome.
That's funny because we were talking to Parker Jacobs a few what is it like a month ago or something? I forgot what it was.
Yeah.
And he was telling us about all the backstage stuff at the all the Aquabat shows and all the stuff that he did. And I think he mention a fire or something once. There was someone went on fire.
yeah,
Yeah.
well,
So,
so the Powdered Milkman suit is fireproof. The point is that they
right.
can shoot bottle rockets at it. And it was funny because Tavis told me, because Aquabats, Go-Go 13, and Goodwin Club played a show, and I was on it. I was playing in Goodwin Club. I was playing trumpet for them.
Oh,
Um,
that was a few
and
months ago.
yeah, yeah, it was like
Yeah,
December or something.
yeah. So the
Oh, yeah.
Aquabats 30th anniversary, we were there.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
were there.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was one of the Care Bears in the Goodwin Club.
Oh,
Oh, shoot.
And
I have all the videos of it.
I got footage also.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, look at it again. You'll find me over there, way on your right, stage left. Um, but
Okay.
so Tavis is in that band too, and Tavis was the first guy to wear the fireproof powdered milkman suit, and that was where it came up. It's like, oh, do you want to play powdered milkman in this video? That was when that happened, and Tavis leans over to me and goes, just so you know, you have to duct tape the sleeves to the gloves. And I said, what? He said, I wore this suit. I was the first person to wear it when it was fireproof, and they shot a bunch of bottle rockets at me, which was great until one went up my sleeve.
Oh shit.
So you have to duct tape the sleeves to the gloves. And I said, got it. But then in the video we didn't, they weren't setting me on fire or anything. So
Yeah.
it didn't come up, but I was like, it was Tavis. It was just great that Tavis was just like, hot tip, buddy.
And Tavis is the old Real Big Fish trumpeter. right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember him. Now with you being in the ska scene, what are your current favorite ska bands that are playing nowadays?
Oh man. I mean, I like so many of them. Um, there's so many good. I really love what We Are the Union has done. That's probably the one that I listen to the most. I just think that like sonically, songwriting wise, like production wise, those records are so good. I also think like Catbite's new record they put out is the best record that they've done yet. Like it's so cool that that band like as much as big as they are and as much stuff as they've done, they're still like getting better. Like it's not like they're getting like sometimes a band like hits and then they get lazy and they put out something worse. But like oh my gosh, their best record is their newest one.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Like, yeah, I really like Kill Lincoln. As far as things, Devin K did some like an awesome ska record and has always been sort of a ska adjacent band, but then did like the one proper ska like record, and I think it's really good. Um, one of the Goodwin Club songs that they didn't do a music video for, I think is incredible. And I keep getting on them about, I'm like, this song's so good. Why didn't you make this the single, you dummies? And then they were like, oh, we like it too. We should do something. I'm like, yeah, I know. Um, Gosh,
Sorry, not sorry.
like Eichler's is doing awesome stuff with the genre. There's a dude in England called Common Sense Kid that is doing like sort of like it's like a little bit like dubbier, but then like and he kind of like raps and it's good. It's awesome. Like I like people that mess with it. Like Catbite's keyboardist has a project called Kamoy or Kamoy or whatever, and has an amazing record that's kind of like chip Tony as well. And there's also Tape Girl in Colorado. It's a one girl laptop ska kind of chip tone thing, and it's so cool. It's cool what people are out there doing. Like, uh, man, yeah, it's awesome that people are like it's cool that ska is such a roots music that there's no wrong way to use it. Like it's like a seasoning that you have that you can sprinkle into like anything and you can just mess with it. And that's what I like so much about it.
Awesome.
Now on your website, you have merch. You have a merch of an NES cartridge with a game says "loser" and also floppy disks. Are those real games, or are they? Can they
Okay.
work? Or is it real floppies?
So
What's on them?
my merch table is I for younger people, I like to say it's a game of name one thing on this table. Because it's just all like weird old stuff. So yeah, the floppy disks are real. Actually, I have one right here because it broke. Like the little slider thing broke. But it's a
Okay.
real floppy disk. There's one song on it. It's super compressed, so that it fits on there because they only hold 1.44 megabytes.
Yeah.
Um, so it's one song plus a text file that has the download code to get the whole EP. But good luck getting into it. But yeah, I really do load the floppy disks. I load them all myself. It's absolutely real.
That's
The
awesome.
NES cartridges are just for show. I do have intentions of making a game at some point, but to actually
Okay.
get the like ROM and to be able that you can write to and make an NES cart. Like if you go to like a video game expo where people are making new NES games, they're selling those games for like 50 or $60 a piece. And I just
Wow.
feel like that's too expensive to be on the merch table. Not, but that's what you have to charge for it. That's like what it is going to cost you to make
Hmm.
it. So I was like, I figured out a way that I could make a label and get cases and not have a game in there, and I could get it at a price point that I thought was worth it. I just figure like,
Okay.
but I do also do. You'll appreciate this. I was able to find like Atari games where like the labels were damaged or fell off. So
Oh,
I have Atari 2600 carts that I put my label on, And there really is a game in there. It's not a game I made. It's a mystery
Oh,
game.
but
It
it's
might be good. It might be bad. I don't know.
that's
So I
funny.
have those too because I did get the complaint a lot. People were like, "Oh, it'd be cool if there was like a game in there," and I was like, "All
But
right,
yeah,
bet." So I did with
okay.
Atari ones. So the Atari ones are real, um,
Oh, I
but
didn't get one of those.
yeah, but like what it was for me was like vinyl's great. Like I think vinyl's awesome. People are starting to buy less of that now these days, but like for a while, like vinyl like had a resurgence, and I got that because I was like, yeah, it's an analog sound. It's different, and I'm not gonna say superior, but like if you perceive it as superior, I get it. Like it has a sound that's different, and maybe it's better. But it was around like 2008 or 9 or whenever when cassette tapes started coming back, and I was like, okay, well that's just objectively worse than a CD. And like my friends were buying cassette tapes and vinyl records and like framing them and putting them on their wall. Like, oh, I don't have anything to play this in, but it's cool. So it was started in my first band in Neuronic Distress. I was like, well, as long as we're putting out dead media, and that's the point. So I started putting out floppy disks. Like I was like, our music should be available on floppy. And so I'm still doing that to this day because I bought a whole bunch of floppy disks back then for this band that nobody ever really saw, or cared about. So I had a bunch left. And so it's
Huh.
something I still do. But yeah, I've been doing it for like over 15 years now, is putting out songs on floppy because I think it's funny. And because yeah, I don't know. It's just yeah, you can't sell CDs anymore. No one will buy a CD. Some people will buy a tape. A couple of people will buy a record. Yeah, yeah, there are collectors. There are collectors who will do it. But it's just like they're not worth carrying anymore, like to the merch table, like on tour
Mm.
and stuff. So like, but I wanted to have something for people who are like, oh, can't I buy any music? And so I'm like, yeah, here's a floppy disk. Like, as long as you're
Oh
doing
well.
dead media, man, let's do this.
Oh man, I gotta dust off my 286 now.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who still like physical media, like myself.
Yeah,
I mean, I won't do tapes. I'll do CDs, and I had to stop doing records. I just don't have room. But
yeah.
CDs, I'll keep doing.
I mean, I love physical media too. I know it's in extremely low definition, but these are all physical video games behind me.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
And I've got a similar shelf of all my like DVDs and all my CDs and stuff. Like I love it too, but it's just, it when we're selling merch, we're trying to, I mean, like I try to keep my table weird because it makes me happy, but ultimately we're trying to sell to people and sell them things that they want. So, we got to keep up with the times. Like what do people want? So at least the floppy disks are really light and small, so they're easy to bring on tour.
now I saw on social media you had this one video talking about your merch table, but then you talked about somebody else's merch table and they had a
Oh,
bag of trash.
Oh, yeah, that was this weekend. I was playing in Sacramento on a video game expo with Chris Farron, and I was helping him get set up on stage, and he was sound checking. I was like, "Oh, can I bring anything to the merch table for you?" Because it was like a trek like inside, and I was like, "Hey, you want me to help you out?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, here." And he handed me a trash bag that had his merch in it. So I just put it on the table, and so I've been doing kind of a thing. I like would challenged him to like a pinball match and stuff. I don't know. I was doing it for whatever reason. My bit for promoting that show was talking shit on Chris Farron, and it was fun for me.
That's funny.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
so I
funny.
did. So I set up my whole merch table and made it really nice, and then I had his little trash bag next to me, and I said, "Chris is garbage." Um,
Yeah, that was a big contrast.
no shots fired. Chris Farron is 10 times the human that I am and 8,000 times the musician that I am. I love his music. I think he's great.
Now, you briefly touched on the Eichlers. What is your connection with them?
I played trumpet on a bunch of that first EP or
Mhm.
record. I can't full length. Maybe it's a full length. I can't remember, but whatever that record was, I played trumpet on a bunch of songs on it. He hit me up and we did it. We played a show together. But yeah, even absent me being involved in it, I just think it's cool to like evolve the genre. And yeah, Eichlers, I mean, yeah, nobody else is doing ska quite like Eichlers, except for the couple of times when 100 Gex has done ska, I guess. But it's cool. It's really cool. I really like it.
So I got one last question. Now, picture the viewers of Ska History Hour discovering Loser for the first time. Which track should they queue up and why?
Um, I guess if you're listening to this podcast, you probably are like a fan of like ska from the 90s, right? Like I feel like that's probably like your target demo. So yeah, queue up No Hope because that's the one Real Big Fish plays on. Because like
Okay.
that's cool. It's the first time Aaron and Scott played together on a song in like over a decade from the last record that Scott was on. So that's cool.
Cool, cool. All right.
Now,
And
what
Ryland
is?
played drums and produced it, and Dan's in the music video too. So
Oh,
it's a whole
Dan
reunion.
Regan. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. You got all the old school guys in there.
Yeah.
Now, what are your pet? What is a pet peeve of yours and an addiction?
Um, pet peeve? I don't know. Uh, oh, I don't know if this is really a pet peeve, but it's a thing that annoys me that I that happens sometimes and I think about. So like occasionally mail like I'll like have a package coming and I have tracking for it and it says it's delivered and it doesn't come here but it says it was delivered. Um
Yes.
that's annoying, but like the thing about that's specifically annoying to me, but also like there's a hero of the story and there's a villain of the story and they're both the post office. What's fascinating to me is that the people who work at the post office, the people like if you call to like track a package or go online and use the tools or go into the physical post office, all the people whose job is actually like customer interface, they're never going to find that package. They're going to waste a lot of your time. They're going to be mean to you and they're not going to help and it's not going to happen. However, the person whose job is actually to walk around the entire neighborhood, putting in miles, rain, sleet, or snow, a million degrees in a little shitty car that has no air conditioner in it, who like technically could just put on headphones and just go drop stuff and not talk. His job is not to talk to people. His job is to put mail in boxes and keep going. That guy is a hero. And I found out that if you put a note on your mailbox and flag that guy down, he comes to my door and he looks at it and he looks at the track and goes, "Oh, I know what they did. Gosh, those night shift fill-ins can be idiots." And he goes out and finds my package and brings it back. And so I just think it's like I guess my pet peeve is that the post office has the one guy that's really doing all the work and is already like a saint of a person for like doing a hard job is out there like making this whole thing work. And then everyone who works in customer service is just a jerk. Is just trying to find ways to make your life miserable. So I don't know, is my pet peeve the post office or am I also just really impressed by my mailman and how good he is? I don't know.
That was my dad. My dad was a postman
Yeah,
growing
an
up,
actual like letter carrier, the guy who
an
like went
actual
door to
letter
door.
carrier. But he did have some good areas like Pasadena or bad areas like certain parts of Pasadena. But then he had really good areas like San Marino, which is out here, or not really out here, but
Yeah,
in
yeah,
a
yeah.
wealthy
But
area. Uh,
I mean, speaking of ska and mailmen, though, you got the ska
The
mailman.
Ska Mailman. Yes, the Ska Mailman.
See? But once again, he's a good mailman. What's his job?
Yeah.
Actually carrying the letters, delivering them.
yep,
So
Yes.
there you
Yeah.
go.
yeah, I
Yeah. So
remember
he'll
that.
appreciate those words that he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
Adam,
your
this one's for
addiction?
you.
Is your addiction video game collecting?
Yeah, I guess. That and sugar. I love sugar.
I think those go hand in hand, don't they?
I think they
Video games
do.
and sugar.
Mountain
Love sugar.
Dews.
Yeah. I'm more of like a Coca-Cola Dr. Pepper guy, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like a monster kind of guy. So yeah.
So
He's like,
now is the time when we notice people are wearing t-shirts. We always show our t-shirts. So what
Yeah.
t-shirt do you have on today?
I have the Menzingers on. Um, I don't know if you can see it real good, but it says the Menzingers and it's like a photo. It's like an old-timey photo, but the people are like skeletons. They're like very dead. There you
Oh,
oh
go.
okay.
yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we know what Jose's wearing there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could
Okay.
see it. That's one of
There it
mine.
is. Yes.
Did that come in today?
No, it came in yesterday,
Oh,
but
He
I
did
did the
a
perfect.
video,
he put a he
unboxing
did a
video today.
yeah, he did an unboxing video
I
of it.
saw no, I saw that video. I just like I saw it today, so I was like, "Dang, dude, did that make it there just under the wire?" But either way, that's awesome.
No, I did the video just today. It came in like
Good,
yesterday or
good, good,
the
good.
day before. So
Yeah.
yeah, thank you so
Nice.
much. By the way,
Dude, thank you. I That's the best shirt idea I've ever had. I'm so glad that
I,
other people liked it.
I love it.
Uh,
I love Operation Ivy. And then my brother
yeah.
always says I sound like Wario when I go wah.
Yeah, dude, I was just like I couldn't believe nobody done it. I looked up Operation Ivy and I was like nobody's done this. Like
No, it
how
is.
perfect. Like I was like yeah, it's just the guy. I remember I told my artist Justin Gray he's drawn like almost all my album covers and he did like the We Are the Union ones. He does a bunch of stuff for a bunch of ska bands because he's super good and he's the homie. I told him the idea and he was like this is the best idea you've ever told me. Like I was like, I know. I
So
know.
now, what's your shirt now, Daryl?
Oh, mine's nothing. Well, I guess not nothing special. It's just
Oh,
What?
nice.
life is a pigsty.
Morrissey. Is
Morrissey, okay.
that Bambi on it?
Yeah, I
It's
don't know what it
Babby.
is.
It's Babby, bro.
Dude,
Yeah,
that rules.
it's from the when I took my kids to see Morrissey for the first time a couple years ago at the Greek Theater. He played like
Yeah,
8 songs and then got too cold and left. And that was it.
that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's typical Morrissey. But I had seen him a couple of years before that. I think it was the Hard Rock, or I forgot where it was in Vegas. And he was just fucking amazing. I had front row seats. He came up and he came to see everybody, shook everybody's hand in the front row except me.
What a
The
dick.
Oh
only one. I was
no.
the one at the very end, and he didn't shake my hand. So I still have this like
Oh.
feeling that I got to get my hand shaked by Morrissey. And he lives in LA, so I got to find him somewhere.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck. He'll probably run the other way when he sees me.
I remember you. No.
Yeah, he's all hell no.
Oh my gosh.
Now, what does the future hold for Loser and Chris Graue?
Well, yeah, I'm playing Mag West. I'm also playing a show in Long Beach with Mephistopheles and the Goodwin Club, Los Malablados. That's coming up in July.
Yes.
Um,
And Chenchi Berinches.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Bunch of bands on that show. I'm on first, so get there early.
Oh, yeah, we'll both
Um,
be there.
yeah, and I've got a bunch of songs that are either done or almost done. I'm just trying to get them all done and so I can put them out. And it takes forever. I've been working on this record for 4 years. It's
Oh,
officially
wow.
been 4 years. Um, I think it's good though. I like the songs, so we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if anybody wants to do shows, I'm down. I'm trying to go. I've got a goal. I'll tell you what, I'll put this out there. If any listeners out there are like, I want to see a show, if you have a ska band or you know a ska or a punk band, or if, I mean, fuck it, any kind of band, but you're probably here because you like ska bands, um, and they're in your hometown, and you want me to come play a show out there, the best way to do it is get that band to hire me to make a music video for them. I'll talk to them about doing a song. We'll figure it out. I'll fly out there. I'll play a show with them and I'll make their music video. And bonus points if you're in one of the 7 states that I haven't been to yet. I'm trying to finish all 50 states. I'm real close. So look, Arkansas, uh, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Hampshire, either Dakota or Alaska, you get preference. I will move hell and high water if you got a show for me to play there. We'll figure it
All
out.
right. All right, you guys heard it.
Yeah. I've been to 48 of the 50 states so far.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. It's just the North and South Dakota. Those are the two I've never been to. And no reason
Yeah.
to really.
Yeah, the Dakotas are tough. They're not really like on your way to anything or a
Exactly.
destination in themselves.
But
they're
but
hard to
but
get to.
but I've toured with bands, so that's the
Yeah.
reason why. It's not like I go out and do that.
No, same. Yeah, that's music has taken me almost everywhere that I've been.
Yeah.
So
Now you mentioned to me off camera before earlier today about you're working on like a little tour thing. Is that correct? Coming up?
I'm always trying to book a tour or five at the same time. So yeah, I'm working on it. We'll see if they come together.
Is this something like the West Coast? Are we talking about Arizona, Colorado, that type of thing?
Trying to make my way across the country. But we'll see. I mean, it just, I got nothing to announce on it yet because nothing's locked down. So
Okay. Well,
yeah,
if you need connections or anything like that, I have a lot.
sweet.
Yeah, talk to everybody everywhere.
I
There
will
isn't
I
one
will
person I
probably
won't talk
bug
to.
you. I will probably bug you.
You should. Uh, Now, where can we find your music, both physical? Actually, physical would be at your merch table, but digitally.
Yeah, if you look up Loser wherever it is that you stream music, it's Louser, like we talked about with the bonus U in it. You don't need the parentheses on any of the streaming things. They don't allow me to have parentheses in the name on those. But yeah, or if you go to chrisgraue.com, or I'm Chris Graue on all the social media things. So whatever thing you prefer, you can find me.
Perfect. Perfect.
All right.
Now, did you have any last words for your fans out there and the viewers of our channel?
Mm, Japanese melon candy.
Oh, that's the go-to flavor, right?
I don't know.
The
It's just
melon?
like if I was gonna have last words, like I was gonna say one more thing and then die, like I just would want people to think about Japanese melon candy. That shit's delicious.
Oh,
Are those the
why
little
did you say that?
squishy ones?
Just the flavor in general. Like there's a hard candy, there's like ice cream versions, there's
Oh,
all
okay.
kinds. I just man, Japanese melon flavor. Ramune, melon flavored ramune. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
My kids were all into ramen back in the day.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, cool. Now, um, we want to thank you very much for the time that you've taken to speak with us about your music and yourself as an individual. We're definitely going to see you next. Is it next month already? Yeah,
Next
it's time
month.
Yeah.
flying.
Yeah.
We're going to see you next month in a few weeks here. Can't wait to hang out with you. Thank you very much for everything. Hold on real quick. We're going to talk to you right after. All right.
All right, thank you.
Hello, Skankers. Jose here, aka Skanking Force. Would you like to win a free Ska Box? It's as easy as following Ska Box Rocks and Sniff Dog Records on Instagram and Facebook. And subscribe to Ska History Hour on YouTube and comment Ska Box Rocks in any video to enter. Good luck!